Welcome back to the Real Table Podcast with video now. Dang, we doing this with video now. My brother is cooking, by the way, so it's all good. This is the Real Table Podcast, y'all. We being real out here. He's cooking dinner and he doing the podcast. This is a man. I look up to this too. There's real love right there. Making dinner too. But it is great to be back. This is gonna be a crazy episode. Loki season 2, episode 6, aka the finale of Loki season 2, which also we can talk about this too. This might be the end of Loki. The show itself might be the end of it. But Loki season 2, episode 6. What y'all think? Give me y'all thoughts right now. Drop some bombs if you need to. Let's go.
So, I mean, I texted you guys probably like 4 or 5 hours ago, and I just had like those memes of people looking confused with a bunch of like equations like going across their faces because I was just like, I don't know what's going on.
I'm gonna be honest.
So
I didn't get that.
So like from that moment to like maybe 20 minutes ago, all I've been doing is researching Loki and other parts of the MCU to try to make sense of all of this. So confused, I guess, is the answer to your question. That's what I feel. But that doesn't take away from the fact that I thought actually this was probably the best thing they've done in a while. Like definitely the show. It's not even close. So yeah.
Mrs. Chef.
I think I finished watching it and I kind of understood what was going on, but I kind of didn't, so I had to go find some articles to read. But overall, I was just like, this is the best that Marvel has to offer. Like this is the pinnacle of Marvel right here, from start to finish. It all made sense, I think. But I was just like, I wouldn't even call it shock. I was just kind of in awe. I was like, dang, they really just did that. They really just took it there and like did this thing and all right, we here, and it's great and it's confusing and it kind of sets up the future, but not really. I don't know. I thought that final episode was the perfect stamp on what I think is Marvel's. Like I said, I think it's the best thing Marvel's put out in the live action world. Like in my mind, it's right up there with Iron Man, with Avengers, because it's just Loki's been true to itself for 2 seasons. They haven't been getting too crazy, too weird. They got a formula. They stuck with it, and I think it served them well in comparison to other Marvel TV shows.
So you're saying it's even better than like all the movies, or just like all the TV shows?
For sure, better than all the TV shows. I would say it's better than some of the movies for sure. I'm not gonna say all of them, but I think it's better than some of the movies for sure. Like I will put it up top with some of those movies. Like I said, like Iron Man, Avengers. Like I'm putting Loki up there.
Yeah, I agree.
It's crazy. Like the way that it ended, it wasn't the way that I expected it to end. It left you like Kev was saying, like sending with the GIFs, the equation GIFs. You had to really focus and kind of understand what was happening. And I'm like, okay, where are we going? Where are we going with this? We keep going in circles. And so I feel like this is like, I think he's arguably one of the greatest characters in the MCU. Maybe top 3. Hot take. He might be a top 3 character after this show, just because, like, if you think about his character arc, going from what he was from from the very first Thor all the way to now, it's like, holy crap. he's kind of redeemed himself, even though this is not the Loki that we know from the Thor and from all the way up until Infinity War. It's not that same Loki. It's a different Loki. Even though it's a different Loki, it's like just thinking about where he was, even when he first appeared in the TVA, how he was just trying to get out of the TVA. He was just trying to get back to where he was, and just everything within his heart just pivoted, and he just became kind of a hero in a way. Like, he kind of cared about other people and started to care about the things around him, and even cared about the greater good. So this was some really good character study work from Marvel, and definitely probably their best show, I'd say. 100% confidently. Their best show. Top 10 project altogether for the MCU. So crazy. I don't know, man. This is wild. It's wild. What's next? Where do we even go?
I mean, I kind of just want to start talking about the episode because, like, I can't even like collect my thoughts to
dive in. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's just start the beginning, and then maybe I can piece something together to form a thought at the end.
Let's start at the beginning. Go for it.
I mean, they came back to where he was trying to figure out the loom again, right?
Right.
And then he had, I mean, by this time he already fixed the time slipping thing. Like, he could already do it.
He can control it. Yeah.
So what? He like figured out that, okay, I can't do this. Like we're going too slow. So he was like, let me just go back in time and
speed it up.
Tell them we got to go faster. We got to do this quicker. And then, eventually they got to a point where they were going fast enough, but like, I guess their, what would you say? I was going to say their theology, but like their
calculations.
Yeah. Like their theories were off.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, the first wild thing that happened, he decides, hey, I don't know enough about this. So, Obi, how much time do you think it'll take?
That was nutty.
I was like, what? How much time do you think it'll take for me to learn what I need to know about this stuff? Because obviously we're not doing it right. And why am I blanking on Jonathan Majors?
Obi said decades, and then Timely said centuries.
Yeah. And then he said centuries. I was just like, for real? That's what I'm about to do?
And then it goes black, and the little thing says centuries later. I said, you kidding?
Yeah.
He went back in time. I was like,
let me just quickly learn quantum physics and all this stuff. Just like slight work. I'll figure it out. I'll come back. Oh my gosh. And then it worked. Timely was able to make it all the way down there. And a YouTube video, one of several that I watched after this, was basically like, this kind of implies that he's been even doing this part, like the Timely walking down the little bridge thing to the loom a few times, because he knew, okay, do not set it on the ground. Make sure you tape him here across his head and across his neck or whatever. And like everything was basically just already thought of because he had already seen all of it like so many times. So it worked, but then it didn't work.
That was wild. Like, he did all of that and they just couldn't get it right. Like, it just didn't work. It still was wrong.
Centuries. My man said centuries in the loop for him to do it. And then they say, we go, it's not right. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, it's just, it's too much. It's infinite amount of strings, Loki said.
Dang.
You know how angry I would be? You know how angry I'd be? Just like, what do you mean?
It's like, we done.
I know all there is to know about quantum or whatever he learned.
This was all for
I guess
naught.
with physics. Yeah, and now you're telling me it's not even gonna work? What the heck? Oh my gosh, yeah, that it kind of made me a little mad. I was like, wow, that was a lot of wasted time.
Waste of time. And then he realized he's like, I gotta go back to the moment.
Called
Like,
it.
I gotta go back
I
to
called it.
this. Yep, he's like, I gotta go back to the moment. When he realized it didn't work, I was like, you gotta go back, bro. You gotta go back. And then he's like, okay, I'm going back. He knew where he had to go back to. And even then, guess what he found out? It was kind of a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
That whole scene was interesting.
Came face
for
to
me.
face. Yeah, go for it.
It was interesting because like he spent a whole bunch of time trying to get Sylvie to to not kill him. And then you get to the scene where like he stops time and Loki's like, how'd you do that? And he's like, you think this is the first time we've had this conversation? Trying to be all smug, like, yeah, man, like, how about you come back when you're ready to talk or whatever, and then he unfreezes time, and then Loki's like, phew, he stops it, and he's like, do you think this is the first time we've had this conversation? And his face was like, he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
one
like
for
a
Loki.
checkmate. He's like,
yeah, he's like, okay, you got me there. One for Loki. But it was interesting just because he basically made him, he was like, you need to choose. Like, you kill me, we end up with the loom blowing up, or you kill her, and I keep the sacred timeline safe. No wars, no incursions, all that kind of stuff. And Loki's at this moment where he's kind of like, I don't know what to do, and so he goes back to find Mobius to ask him what he should do, which I thought was ridiculous.
So this was officially where I started getting confused. Like their back and forth just threw me through a whole loop because I was like, okay, so let's start here. So basically, he says, I knew all of this was going to happen. I was like, fine, that makes sense. I kind of saw something like that. That was one of like the possibilities I had in the back of my head. I was like, okay, it could just be he who remains this whole time, just pulling strings and all that stuff.
Yep.
But the first thing that threw me through a loop was when he said, I know about the time slipping because I led you to it. What does that even mean? Like, because I'm assuming it means something along the lines of like he knew that Loki had this ability and he just needed him to realize it. So he like set up events a certain way that would lead him to get to that point.
Wait, so you think he always had this time slipping thing?
Well, see that's my thing. I'm like, is he saying that is he who remains saying that he knew that Loki had this, or is he saying that he gave it to him? Because if he gave it to him, how is that even possible? Like, what does that even mean?
I didn't take it as him saying that he would give it to him, but more so, I feel like he led him in the direction to time slip, if that makes sense. That's how I read it.
I read it as him saying like, I set you on this path, so it's because of me that you are able to have this time slipping ability.
Right.
To your point, Kev, I'm not sure if he knew Loki would eventually take the road he did at the end, or if he was just thinking like, Loki is my pawn regardless, so he can time slip and stuff. But at the end of the day, he's still gonna do what I want him to do, and I think that's what's confusing because it's like, well, did he know this was gonna happen? Like, it was the whole scene was weird because like Sylvie kills him, he's like, see you soon. Then all of a sudden, was Loki happening, and he's pausing time, like, this isn't the first time, and it's like, okay, I'm confused now. So is it the first time? Not the first time. But I do think he set him on the path to have the time slipping ability. Now, whether he knew how he would use it at the end, I don't know. I don't think he knew because he made it very clear. If you kill me, if you blow up the loom, my other variants are going to come. They're going to start a war, and everything's going to be destroyed. And so I don't know. He's kind of. I feel like he's very like kind of arrogant, self-centered. So he's like, there's no way. Listen, I'm doing the dirty work, okay? So you don't have to. There needs to be one timeline. I'm in control of it so that my variants aren't running crazy. If you blow it up, everybody's gonna die. So you choose: everybody die, or let me be in charge. And
And this brings me to two more questions that I had. One, was he holding it together by having the TVA in place and them going out and pruning the branches that he deemed dangerous because of his variants? And then my other question is, what does he mean by his variants have already been released? Like before he was even dead. He who remains, I mean. Like if he wasn't dead yet, how are they released? Or was his dying in a sense like the catalyst to them being released? Because like the way I thought it was happening was like, okay, if you don't kill him, then everything kind of stays in place because he is in control of TVA and is telling them to prune things.
Yeah.
But if you kill him, then that means he can't tell the TVA which branches to prune, I guess because he's already seen it happen. So he knows which ones are right and which ones have this variance in them.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the only one with that knowledge. So the TVA has to listen to him. But if they're not there, then they can't do it. Sorry, if he's not there, then they can't do it. Is that what happened?
I think him dying initially is what released. Like I think from Ant-Man, we thought that at the end of the post credit or the mid credit scene, whatever it was, they were like, "Oh, the one who banished us he's gone now." I think we all thought it was Kang the Conqueror from Ant-Man, but in reality, I think it was He Who Remains from Loki.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because he's in charge of the sacred timeline. So now that he's gone, the branches are going crazy. They're going wild.
Yep.
Right.
And so I think that's what they're talking about. Now, Kev, to your point earlier, maybe he didn't know all this was going to happen. And that's why he said my variants are already out. Maybe he knew Loki was going to go do what he did. And, we got branches everywhere. And maybe he was just like, this is the way. Maybe this is part of the plan. Maybe this is how it gets back to one timeline,
Yes, I think that is it. I think that's. I still don't see how yet. I don't know. I know where we're going. We know where we're going, but how is still the question. But yes, I think that's the plan. I think the plan is to get everything back to one timeline now.
I guess where all of my questions really are anchored in is, what exactly is his power? He Who Remains. Is it just knowledge? Is that it? Because my thing is like, a lot of this doesn't really make any sense to me because I'm like, what can you control? What can't you control? Like what can you do and what can't you do? Because it seems like his only power really is just knowledge. Like he just knows how to do all this stuff. And
I'd say that. I'd say he cracked the code. And so I don't think he actually has any like abilities, but like he has when his time pad or whatever, he's figure out a way to stop and control time and et cetera, et cetera. That's how I look at it.
Look at all the variants. They all have like that armor and the tech. So remember, Kang is technically from the future.
Yeah.
So the powers that he has is like this future technology. But then, like you said, Kev, he has knowledge. And it's so cliche, but like legitimately, knowledge is power. So the fact that he knows how things can play out, and that's why he has so much power, because he knows, all right, if we go down this road, this is what's happening. If we go down this road, this is going to happen. And because he's from the future, he can sit. Somehow he's able to sit outside of time, and just the fact that he can do that, I think that sets him apart from most people, because he sits outside of time, outside the flow of time, and he's able to manipulate that. That in itself is like the ultimate.
That's crazy.
You can change anything. You can, if he wanted to make branches happen, you just let them happen and stuff. And so it's like that right there is like, that's some crazy stuff.
Yep. That's insane. That's good questions though, Kev. You got any more questions? Kev?
Kev does have a good question.
Oh, okay.
You there?
Do you got any questions, bro?
Oh, he said BRB, gotta get the oven.
Oh,
Okay.
the real table, y'all. We real out here.
So yeah, Loki talks to Mobius, and Mobius like he tells the story of him and Renslayer, and he basically is like, you gotta carry the burden. Which burden do you want to carry? And then he talks to Sylvie, and she's like, and because at that point he's like, all right, I think I gotta kill Sylvie. So he goes back to Sylvie, and from the end of episode 5, and he was like, what am I supposed to do? And she's like, so basically you gotta kill me. And he's like, yeah, I gotta kill you. And he's like, what am I supposed to do? And she's like, give us a fighting chance, basically. And that's what kind of sets him down the path that he ends up going to, because she was like, we need to give us a chance. Which I thought was interesting.
She kind of sucks, man. Not kind of. I don't know why I say kind of.
She's
still
super
sucks.
selfish, bro. She's the worst.
Like when he went back, she's like, just do it. Just do it. I'm like, bro, do you not hear what he's saying?
You're not going to get
you
my
should feel
blessings.
bad. You should feel sad.
Just do it. She's like, but
you
then
should
she
feel
made the
sad
comment,
that that's how you were.
But the thing too, she made that comment a few episodes ago about how like we're playing God. We shouldn't play gods. And Loki's like, but we are gods. And it's like that. It's
bro,
like she wants to be like, she want to work at freaking McDonald's. And it's like, bro, you're the god of mischief. Like, you got to own that. You can't, sorry, you don't get to live a normal life. And that's selfish of you to let all these branches, all these timelines branch out. He literally came back and said, I saw the end, Sylvie. Everything's destroyed. And she's like, well, we can't.
She still don't care.
What do you mean?
Like,
you want to,
bro,
you want to eat a Big Mac that bad? Come on, bro. It's not even that good.
Wow. I wanted him to kill her. I'm like, bro, kill her. Kill her. Forgive me, Lord. Kill her.
He can't. He in love with her. He in love with her.
Like,
he a schmuck.
I had to go back and watch videos, to explain things. And I forgot, like, in season 1, when she was, like, being hunted by the TVA.
Yeah.
She was, like, causing different branches then to, like, spawn because of what she was doing. Because she was mad.
Bro, she was tweaking.
Because she was upset. She was just creating new branches like it was nothing. I was just like, dude, you are the worst. Like, you were the worst.
She's the reason. She's the reason for everything. Why does show even exist? It's for you.
She's really a menace to society. Like, it's not our Loki. It was her. She didn't understand it. Even at the end of season 1, when he was like, wait, chill out. She was like, no, I have to kill her. It's going to fix everything.
Right.
Then she does. And where we find this girl with a mullet at McDonald's. Like, oh, you're here?
A nasty mullet.
Nasty mullet.
You
like,
shave that thing off.
You're not even cute anymore. Stop playing with me, Sylvie. And then you still up here tripping like yeah, it's free will. We're not gods. You are God, actually. You're literally a variant of Loki. Stop playing.
Embrace it.
She's disobedient. Like
embrace it.
She's
disobedient, bro.
She's disobedient of this series.
She worse than Sabine though. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
I could tolerate another 2 episodes of Sabine. I could. After 6 episodes of Sylvie, bro, I could tolerate 2 more episodes of Sabine, man. And that was 8 episodes. That was 8.
She was tripping. She was tripping the whole second season. She was just like, leave me alone. I don't care. And I was Loki, you know what? I'm gonna let you get spaghetti fried. I don't care either. Don't come crying to me when your McDonald's when you get a Big Mac, spaghetti Big Mac. Don't come crying to me. Loki, what's going on?
Spaghetti Big Mac. Hey, those Big Macs was probably smacking though, if you think about it. If you think about it, those Big Macs was smacking back in the day. Was she in
original ones? Yeah.
The original
those apple pies. Hey.
Apple bottom jeans.
I get it. No, I don't. I'm kidding.
Okay.
Hey, that was lame, bro.
Nah,
that was lame. Why'd you do that? Why did you do that? Why'd you do that? Oh, man. All right. What did Loki have to do, y'all? What did he have to do?
Well,
this is going to play into the movie somehow.
Yeah. So at that point, when after he talked to Sylvie, he was like, "Okay, I guess I'll just go and do it myself. Like I'll go back to the loom, go out there, destroy it myself, you know." And I guess at some point he realized, all right, I gotta just take the place of the loom and just string all these branches together. I guess when he was like touching them or whatever, but it was basically just spawned off of like how Sylvie was like, you know, there's no. I think she said something about a replacement. Like there's no replacement for this, and he was like, well, what if I can just create a better replacement? And that's when he was like, all right, that I'm just gonna go back to the loom, and I'll be the one that holds everything together instead of he who remains or that loom. So,
That's crazy.
yeah,
That scene was epic.
It was nuts.
Well, because he blew up the loom, and then all the timelines basically were dying or were dead, and then he's like
They're
basically
dead.
grabbing them and bringing life back into them. And so he's grabbing these timelines, and then you see he strings them basically like into his cape. And I was like, "Oh, this
Right.
Dude.
this is tight."
Hey, Natalie Hope on that score, bro. Woo! She cooked. She cooked. She was in her bag this whole season with the score. In her bag the whole season. That score was incredible. And he's walking, he's got the branches, and the power's going through the branches, and then you see his crown starts to come, and then big old horns. I said, oh my Lord. I was like, this is crazy. Yeah. I was like, that's the real Loki right there.
And then you go at the end, who come down the stairs like, I gotta go save him. No, you don't. Sylvie, you didn't want to save him earlier. You had a chance to stop all this, and you didn't want to.
It's too late.
You can't be in there. Now, Mobius, he can be down there. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Sylvie,
It's too late.
No.
I don't want your tears. Save him.
Right. And I do look back, and Mobius like, what's he doing? And Sylvie said, he's giving us a chance. Which
Want
I thought was cool.
Pie? Some key lime pie?
I am Speed. Hey, Loki.
Bro, I love Owen Wilson. That man is a treasure, dude.
I do too. Yeah, I said him at all costs. But it was funny.
Of course.
Not funny, but I thought it was cool to see, like, as he's walking out, literally the fabric of time just splits open to the end of time. And he who remains, like, mansion, cathedral, whatever, it's like destroyed basically. But then it's just that one chair, and it's building up with gold, and then he sits on it, and then the tree, which we'll get to the tree in a second. Let me go back to Kev's why. This is a part I found confusing. Yeah. So what happened to he who remains?
Like,
so is this a timeline? Is this a timeline where he's dead? And so when the loom blows up, does that destroy the cathedral at the end? Because we see at the end there is ruins. Half of the chairs left, and it rebuilds. So is this, and his, like, his skeleton's not there, his body, nothing's there.
I just assumed he was dead.
But even if he is, why would he be dead? Like, I don't understand that, because it's like he is out. First of all, he's outside of time, so I don't know how any of the stuff they're doing even affects him. Then the number two thing is like, okay, he destroyed the loom, but it sounded like that was independent to whatever would happen to him anyway, because he built it, and like I just don't, like, how does that make any sense? Like, I just don't get it. Like, where could he have gone? Like, why would all that be destroyed? Because, like, I'm totally fine with him replacing he who remains in that spot, but I'm just like, how?
Also, it was interesting to talk into that, Kev, about how after that we see the TVAs all back together and they're like embracing the tree, all this stuff, and they say, okay, and they're keeping tabs on all those variants. We see Victor Timely never gets the book. So what happened to the Victor Timely that was in the loom room when Loki blew it up? Did he just go back to his time? But did he, like, cease to exist because the timeline was rewritten?
That's what I was
That's the
thinking about,
question.
like the Morbius that was there that day with him. Because like when he went back to talk to Morbius,
Yeah,
in the very beginning of like the season, I guess you could say, I was like, okay, well that's that Morbius. But now what happens to the Morbius that he was talking to all this time? You know what I mean?
right.
Because I
Yep.
guess like I don't know, man. It's so confusing because like the Morbius that we see at the very, very end, I guess is the Morbius that was still with Loki when he ran off into the loom to take over from He Who
Right.
Remains. So there is a timeline where Morbius knows Loki and saw what he did. So I don't know.
I just wonder if it was because of the chaos of the loom and all the branches that even though he time skipped backwards, um, every time is just unraveling at this point. There's no consistent flow of time, and so I wonder if that's why what happened there. Like he spaghettified or whatever. Like because there's no real flow. Like it's just
Hmm.
kind of Loki time jump back, and everything's about to flow anyways because there's no stability with the time. And so I think maybe that's why you see like him there for a second, and then it all goes away, and Loki's just standing there, and then he jumps forward again. That's the only thing I think of is because there's nobody. Again, we're getting into the nitty gritty, but this is after He Who Remained dies technically. So past, present, and future, there's no guideline for it. There's no structure, so it's
Yeah.
just freely flowing. And I think it was doing that, and it got to the point where it was freely flowing out of control, and that's why you see everything just spaghetti.
And then
That's
and then
my take on it, at least.
yeah, I kind of agree with that. And then another thing, I'm starting to like forget that these YouTube videos are basically just dudes talking, because this one video I watched, I think he's the reason I'm so confused, because at that point he was like, yeah, in this scene, like this was like 5 seconds that he spent on this. He was like, yeah, this scene basically explains that this whole time when people were spaghettifying, it was really Loki doing this outside of time. I was like, what do you mean? How is that even? What are you saying right now? Like, what? How is that possible? Like,
They
what?
want clicks,
So I
bro.
was, yeah,
That
What are
makes
you
no
saying?
sense. That makes no sense.
So I had to like find multiple articles being like, is this true? Like, who is anyone else saying this? Because like, I'm gonna send you guys the link in the timestamp, because I was just like, dude, you just threw that out there and didn't even explain how that's possible. Like, what is going on?
He's
Bro, that's just
outside of
people being
time.
dumb. Bro, that's like I saw an article yesterday. It was like, is Mobius a Odin variant?
Oh,
Ugh.
Here we
Oh
go
my
again. Here we
gosh.
go again. Why would you think that? Well, he had two sons, like Loki and Thor. I think Mobius is an Odin variant. That's why him and Loki are hitting it off. No.
They hitting it
Why are
off
y'all
because they
trying to?
friends.
yeah. They can't just be friends.
They can't just be friends.
Oh, I think Merrick is Janan as Kanan. Guys, can we just let people be people?
Let
Mobius
people
is
be
Mobius. He's a variant.
people.
Mobius
He's
is
a variant of
Mobius.
himself. He's not an Odin variant. That's ridiculous.
That's so stupid. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Oh man. So
Oh
yeah,
my
this is why
gosh.
I'm confused, because I was like, I already don't know what's going on in the show, and now these videos are making me more confused. People are just spitting out theories that don't even have any backing to them, and I'm like, I can't disprove you because I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. Have you heard of Heavy Spoilers?
That's a YouTube page, right?
Yeah.
That's why I listen to heavy spoilers.
I think he's solid. I've
He
heard
is.
he's really, really good.
I may have watched this video after that one,
Okay.
because I think this was the point where I was like, dude, nothing makes sense to me anymore. Oh no, I didn't watch his. Okay, I'll watch.
I gotta watch his too. I didn't watch his yet,
Yeah.
but
There's heavy spoilers.
because
There's another guy I follow too
Yeah.
who does like every episode is literally like 30, 35 minutes, and he breaks down every single detail. But it's
these
legit,
guys are
like,
nuts. Wow.
It's legit.
and
30
And the guy's
and the
just
thing
so
is,
excited.
right? And the thing is, I don't know how they get all this information so quickly. Like I had to go back to a season 1 video, like episode 6 of season 1, because I was so lost. I was like, I don't even know why Kang is doing this, or he is doing this. I don't know if you guys remember, but in the beginning of that, there was like a title. The titles were basically just like cuts of like previous Marvel projects, and other speeches, like famous speeches and stuff. And this dude pulled out every single one and matched it perfectly. And I was like, dude, how did you even know that? And it wasn't like, like easily recognizable stuff. It would just be like some woman saying, and now we go to this or something like that. And I was just like, how did you find that?
Just random stuff.
Yeah, but yeah.
That's what people do, man. They get promotions. They get paid to do this.
Oh, you're
they
right.
Get paid.
No, you're right.
Yeah, you know, heavy spoilers. My guy's getting paid.
Yeah, I forgot about that. They're getting paid.
I'd like to get paid for this. If anybody wants to sponsor the Real Table Podcast, I'm open. Hit my line. Oh man, what a show!
So now he's so now even this part has people arguing back and forth. Are you guys familiar with Loki? What is it? Keeper of stories, teller of stories.
I've heard he was like big. Okay,
that's my niece. She said, "I want to get on."
The comics,
one day,
the articles that I've read about, they said that he's the master. This is all based on a comic story that came out, I think 2012, maybe a little after that. And Loki is the god of stories.
Right.
And so it's a different take on it.
Right.
Interesting.
So I heard
stories.
that, but then I heard a guy vehemently disagree with that.
Yeah.
He was just like, nope, that's not right, because he could just rewrite the stories however he wants. So that's not true. He's actually this custodian guy, like some kind of like multiverse custodian person. And I was just like, dude, what is going on?
I just think he's a timekeeper now.
Let me just wait, and maybe they'll explain it to us.
Look, I think it's more so that he is the god of stories, but not in the sense of that he's writing them. He's holding them all in existence, so everything can exist. You know what I'm saying? So he's holding all these stories in his hand. And the whole tree, which I can't think of the name of it, but it's part of Marvel. It's like the tree of life, or it's like I don't know how to pronounce it. You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It starts with a Y. It starts with a Y. I'm not
even
going to attempt it.
YG something.
Yes, I'm not even going to attempt it. But what story? How it goes to that tree is like it separates the 7 realms, like Asgard, Midgard, all this stuff, and so that's what that tree is technically.
Oh yeah, this name is wild.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try it.
YGGDRASIL.
Yeah,
I want to say Yggdrasil.
That feels right.
And just skip right over those G's.
Yep, that feels real
Silent
right.
G's.
Yggdrasil.
I feel like that's wrong.
Yggdrasil.
Yeah, but I would a custodian. That's whack, bro. This dude got no custodian.
He's
how you
gonna
have 2 seasons culminate as him being a custodian? He's literally a different version of He Who Remains, except he's actually holding the timeline, giving them life and stuff. You know,
that's nuts. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm just maybe I just gotta wait and see. But dude, guys, I'm lost. I have a lot of questions. Like I've never been in a spot where I wanted to ask like the director, the producer, the writers, like, hey guys, what exactly does this mean?
Yep.
Never been in that spot before. This one, yeah, it's got me there.
I'm hoping we get some questions answered. Like I'm hoping somehow it plays into like the movies, like how that all works out. Like even if it's just like small little cameos, like I feel like they have to play in the movies somehow. Like even if it's minor, and even if it's like not everybody knows of their existence, like they've got to be there somehow.
You mean with a TVA?
Yeah. Because I mean, they've already, not the director, but like I think he's the creator. He already came out and said that there's no plans to do a season 3. Like this was always supposed to be a 1-2. But still, I think there's some room for them to come into these movies, and they don't have to be like heavy players and consistent players in these movies, but just their presence. So it's like, oh yeah, the TVA, 100%.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's all these rumors about what's coming up with the show Kang Dynasty, the Secret Wars, all this stuff, and there's been rumors that
Yep.
they're gonna make a multiversal Avengers team. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the TVA become the agency or the train that carries these people and equips them, saying this is what's going on, this is how this is happening, here's what's going on,
Jump
this is
from
what we need to do.
multiverses.
Yeah, like I could see the TVA being almost like a Nick Fury,
Yeah.
where they're assembling these key leaders from these key multiverses to be like, hey, we tried this whole multiverse tree thing. It's out of whack. We got to go back to one timeline, and that means some of y'all not gonna be here anymore. But that's
not gonna
okay.
make it.
Like we got to figure this out, and I think that's how That's how we'll see. That's when if we do see the TVA again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's that, because they're literally the time variance authority they have. That's right up their alley, like multiverses, equipping people to do stuff. So
I heard rumors that, and again, I don't know, again, they're rumors. So I heard rumors that they'd play into Deadpool somehow. I don't know.
That's what I heard too.
I could see it.
they could. Wolverine in there, right?
Yeah. Which
Is that the same universe? We don't know.
yeah, then again, yeah, that's again, like, I don't think it is the same universe. I want to put that out there. I think he's different because he's wearing a yellow suit, and literally they can just do anything now. It's just like, I don't think he's the same universe. But then again, he could be. He really could be. He could be the same universe and just somehow just be like, all right, I'm putting on this yellow suit. Let's go.
I saw a rumor that they said Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man would be the leaders of this multiversal Avengers team.
That's what I heard too.
I'm here for
it. I don't know either, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get all the Marvel characters from the past 20 years. So if we get the original Sony X-Men, Fox X-Men, we already got our Spider-Mans, like, we might see 3 Hawks soon. I don't know, like in anything, so
yep.
At this point, I don't think anything's out of the question, but I think their end goal, like 10 years from now, I think there's going to be one timeline. And I think all the movies that are going to be happening are going to be based on one timeline. So I think we are headed back to a sacred timeline formula. But right now, it's like, and I think Marvel's realizing that it's like the multiverse thing is kind of cool, but now it's just crazy. It's too much now.
That's wild.
And so we need to get back to one universe. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jessica Alba back as Sue Storm. It would be a great chance to have Chris Evans come back as Johnny Storm and be like,
that would be crazy.
That'd be
you look very similar. Now, granted, I think Chris Evans is done as Kong, but anything can happen, so
yeah, I don't know. I hope they keep those details. I know there's some rumors flying out about that stuff, and I'm like, I keep trying to scroll. I'm like, yeah, I'm keeping that to myself. But I'm hoping that they keep those details under wraps. Like, they don't, like, keep the leaks from happening, man. Like, save. Like, if this is some real stuff, actually save it. Which, let's be honest, at this point, they've probably been having, because the movie was supposed to come out, I think 2026 or 2025, something like that. At this point, it's supposed to come out then. I cannot believe or cannot doubt that they actually haven't been having those conversations. If they're for real, they've been having those conversations with those actors about being in these movies. Because now we're like, I think 3 or 4 years removed now with all these delays. But I don't know. It'd be interesting, man. It'll be interesting.
Update on the tree. It's Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil?
Yggdrasil. So, like, instead of like the Y being Yid,
it's
like Ig, like an I. It's like Yggdrasil.
Interesting.
That's fascinating. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go.
All right. You boys got to go see the Marvels
Tomorrow.
All right.
tomorrow.
That post-credit scene is fire.
Wow. Okay. Well,
We're gonna have to have
I'm a little
some
upset that
discussions.
you just jumped straight to there and not even the movie. But
No, the movie is solid. The movie is solid.
Okay, good.
It was a lot of fun. The 3 leads work. They were great together.
Okay.
It was I enjoyed it. I had a good time with that movie.
All right.
I really did. But that post-credit scene goes, oh.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah.
I'll make sure I get me some popcorn in your honor.
Oh yeah, dang, bro. I appreciate that. All right. Any last thoughts for you boys? Any last thoughts?
If you ain't seen Loki at all, go watch it. That's it.
Tell them.
Yeah.
It is my PSA. I put the PSA in another episode too. If you're not watching this Marvel stuff, bro, it's time to jump on. It's time to jump back on. It's time to jump back on. I'm telling you, it's time to jump back on. We got one movie next year, and that's it. So if you haven't been watching, you got plenty of time to catch up. Jump back on. All right, it's about to go crazy. All right.
I feel like this. Look, honestly, when I was watching this episode, I was like, dude, it feels like the entire weight of the MCU is resting on this one episode.
Yeah, it felt like that. It really did.
Like it basically will say what is our assessment of everything that just happened, like with Thanos and everything, and what will happen next. Like,
yeah,
I felt like everything, like this was the crux of everything.
Yep.
Like a nexus point.
You're right.
Oh man.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens. All right, boys. As always, I appreciate y'all for jumping on season 2. Let's get it. Real Table Podcast. As always, everybody that's been listening, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And I and the boys, we'll see y'all real soon. Y'all take it easy. Peace. Thank y'all again for joining me today on The Real Table. Make sure you follow and share this podcast with anybody that loves movies or somebody that wants to just know more about the movie culture. Thank you so much once again. You can also follow me on Instagram at The Real Table Pod. You can follow me on Twitter at The Real Table. Once again, thank y'all so much. I'll see y'all soon.